Why is AACSB introducing a new brand?
Well, I think every organization needs to periodically reevaluate, what does it stand for, what does it represent? And I think AACSB is at a critical juncture in its own evolution at which time has come to reevaluate its role in a changing world of business. So I think the rebranding exercise really is a chance for all of us to look at the organization and look at its role in the future.
The tagline for the brand is Business Education Connected. Why is that important?
I think the word connected is central to what AACSB represents. AACSB represents a connection of members to each other, members to business practice, members to an ecosystem of other providers who in fact create this entire success of the economy and society on which business, essentially business schools are a very important player. So I really believe that the connected phrase is central to what I think is one of the core value propositions, one of the core values of AACSB today and in the future.
What does this mean for AACSB's member schools?
I think just like how the rebranding of AACSB has given us a chance to think about who we are and what we represent, I think this rebranding also provides member schools to think about how does this phrase connected refer to them in their own roles, because every school has a role to play in their own context in which they operate. Because each school is connected to the alumni, to the faculty, to the peer schools, to practice, to other players globally. And I think it's a good chance for us to all look at the connections and revitalize them.
What should AACSB and member schools do over the next year to help leverage this new brand?
I think what we have to do is, of course, live up to the values of the core thinking behind the new brand. And really, in some sense, ask the questions, with whom are we connecting? Are the connections strong enough? With who else should we be connecting? What kind of new connections should we be making given all the disruptions that are there in the industry? And to actually think, how can we learn from the connections? Because all of us have to evolve and grow over time. And learning and growing only happens if you're taking in new ideas and learning from others. So connections really is also central to learning and evolving.
What will AACSB and their member schools look like in 5 years?
That's a good question, because I think that remains to be seen. Clearly AACSB is a very valuable global platform. So clearly what I hope is AACSB will become even more relevant to businesses, to the members, to society as a whole. And connections and focusing connections will help us to become more relevant and more meaningful as an organization. Each school is, different. They operate in a different context. They often have different local, national objectives. So I think each school needs to think about how does it actually live up to this notion of connectedness and be more connected in a useful manner and a purposeful manner inside the society in which they operate. Yet at the same time connect to the global platform that AACSB represents, of which they're a member of.
You've been heavily involved with AACSB's Committee on Issues in Management Education. And a year ago, the committee and AACSB released the collective vision for business schools. How is this new branding connected, if at all, to this collective vision?
Well, the collective vision really gave us a chance to think together about what the future of business education should be. And I mean business education in a more general sense, because business education is not just only from business schools, but collectively, what does the ecosystem provide? Because business today is a very central part of the economy for creating wealth, for prosperity. Now, if you think about connections, what is interesting is the three enablers for the collective vision were really central to connections in many ways. So one of the enablers was connecting across disciplines, and that is very much central to how we extract value from the universities and typically which we operate, the members operate. Second enabler was connecting with business practice. And that is also very important because we all are linked to practice. Our students graduate and go into companies, we essentially serve companies in many ways, and companies are often the vehicles by which we enact and influence large-scale change. So connections are very central to how we can even enable the achievement of collective vision. And I do hope that link becomes even more apparent as we go forward.